Okay, once again, back on the bench. What we have here today is an Elenco 35 megahertz oscilloscope, dual trace analog, and I bought this because I don't have any analog oscilloscopes. They're all digital. So this is going to be my first attempt at repairing one. This was purchased on eBay. It's in really good. Well, it was in really good shape. It's in really good shape. The number plate just fell on the floor. I'm just going to let that go for right now. The face plate, the front end of this thing is really nice. It's got all the knobs on it. There's no major scuffs or scrapes on it, just a little bit of dust. But for the most part, it looks exactly like the ad showed on eBay. And the story behind this is apparently the person that owned it had smelled something hot, they said. They didn't see any magic smoke escape, but it abruptly stopped working, so they just as abruptly shut it off. And I guess they took the top off and didn't notice anything, any gotchas. So they put the top back on, cleaned it up a little bit, and said, okay, put this on eBay. And that's where I found it. So it was under 50 bucks. It wasn't bad with the shipping and everything. The guy did a really good job packaging it. He spent a lot of time making sure that it didn't get damaged in shipping. And again, front end, all the knobs are working. They're all there, which is really impressive. You get into some of this older stuff, it's missing a bunch of stuff. So, but I have not powered this up. I did not turn it on. I just immediately, as soon as it got in, I gave it a once over. It's really clean on the outside. This is the bottom of the chassis area. It's got some tape on it. There's a couple of scuffs, kind of like that one right there on it. And I noticed that there's some kind of corrosion right down here around one of the feet, but it doesn't look like it's on the inside at all. It's very clean on the inside. So, and the top of the case is, I'm not going to be able to get that into camera focus, but it's very nice. There's no scuffs or scrapes or dirt. There's just a little bit of a bend. Let's see if I can get that part of it into frame. The box is still literally right here by the bench. I put the parts in. So let's see here. You can't really tell on the camera, but it's just a little bit of a bend right there. So I'm going to see if I can't straighten that out. When this goes back together, this is going to be a nice looking scope. Now, I'm not one of those people that says things like, I just got this device and it doesn't work, so we're going to experience this together. I'm not that guy, because that guy can fix it. I don't know that I can, and I don't want to look like a giant douche. So, I'm pretty sure we can fix this one though. But let me show you what I found. After I open this up, give me a moment to readjust. Yeah, I know I got some stuff underneath there on the pad, but I wanted to get at this quickly so I could get some parts on DigiKey while I'm getting everything into adjustment here. My puppy Colton Thomas has injured his back somehow, and he's in his second week of being paralyzed, and he's consuming a lot of my time. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to get in here. So what we're looking at right here, this is going to be the top end section with our CRT, and I've pulled the bracket off of the support bracket off of the CRT so that I could get to the power supply underneath it, which is all shielded, and this is the top of the power supply. You know what? I turned that a little bit too far. I want you to see the sides. All right, here. Everything looks really good. I was surprised by a lack of dust. It was pretty clean in there. It didn't show any signs of, leftover flux, anything like that. Let's see if I can get a little bit more light in there. It's actually very clean. I checked all the connections. Of course, all of them were connected. There's a couple that are disconnected over on this side right now, but that was because of the CRT. And I didn't see anything obvious. There were no burn marks. There were no scorches. There were no, legs on any of the boards that were cooked off. So this is all part of the visual inspection. And I got over here and I saw the capacitors, and none of them looked bulged or damaged in any way, shape, or form. But then I took a really good look, and I saw something that you might be able to see right there in the center of the screen. And I've seen this before. As a matter of fact, my favorite Kenwood has that exact same glue around, it did have around all of the capacitors in the power supply section, and every one of those capacitors was kaput. And of course I took everything apart, replaced all those capacitors, cleaned everything up, and bada bing bada boom, I got a pretty nice working Kenwood now. And I've seen this in other pieces of equipment too, and I've heard other people talk about it. There's some type of acidic event going on with this, with these with this glue they're using around the bottom of these capacitors. And in a lot of cases, it will literally just rot the legs right off. It'll just eat the legs off, or however it's doing it, whether it's the legs or it's wicking it up into the capacitor, literally, or into the board. It's causing a failure of the capacitor and sometimes the entire board. So I could tell just by looking at that, those are definitely going to have to be replaced. And then I got over here, and inside of the power supply section, hard to tell. Let's see if we can get a little bit better look. Can we see that capacitor? I don't know. There's a couple more right there, and around the bases of them, guess what? Same stuff, and it looks like you can't see it on this, and this is the only way I can get a camera even on that capacitor, but that one's got even more shellac, acetate, you know, this corrosive glue around it. So that's going to be my guess. I think that this is one of these corrosive glue board issues. I also noticed that there's some of it, for some reason, around some of these FETs, these power control FETs that are up, and I have no idea why, but that I believe is the culprit. I think most of it is isolated to that power supply board, so that is the intention. I am going to take out that board and rebuild it, and then that will be in the next video. I'm not gonna obviously do all this in one shot, so that's the project. I'm gonna take this apart, and then let me see if I'll show you what I'm gonna use with this. This is an eBay purchase, and again, looks like it could come in pretty handy from what I've seen. Some of you may have seen it on eBay. Let's see if I can get the name in there. That is the AF5 FV, which I'm pretty sure that Mike is his name, and I think that's his ham operator, or ham operator license or call sign. And he puts these things out there, and they're pretty effective. If you go to his YouTube page, they're pretty effective for doing some troubleshooting. Now, if you follow Mr. Carlson's lab and the projects that he does, he's building something that's similar, and in my opinion, his is a little bit more useful. But you know, number one, it's not like this one doesn't work; it does. But unfortunately, this one you're going to need an analog scope to work properly. So this is the one in the meantime. And of course, as far as I'm concerned, these are all tools, and you can never have enough tools, especially when you're doing diagnostics. You know, maybe you run into one thing you need something slightly different for, and this kind of works out. One of the other videos I wanted to do was an unboxing of a thing that I have coming in. Of course, I bought it on a slow boat from China, so it's still not here yet. But that's where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this right now, and hopefully the next video will either be that unboxing video, or it will be I was trying to think if there's anything else that I could tell you about that. I'm not gonna bother putting a link on it. If you just search Octopus on eBay, or Component Test Octopus, you should see this come up. And if you want to freeze frame it right down there and just Google search that term, Alpha Foxtrot 5 Foxtrot Victor, you should find that right on eBay. Like I said, got here pretty quick. I live in Ohio. He's like I said, I think it came from Oklahoma, and I want to say this sucker was here in like 3 or 4 days. And it was all nicely packaged, boxed up. Comes with a power supply. Comes with some handmade test leads, and it had some pretty nice BNC connectors that I never have enough BNC to BNC connectors. So that's you know, something else that's kind of handy. You get some extra stuff with it. So this is definitely going to be a tool for the bench. It did work. and I was able to align it pretty well. But like I said, with a digital scope, with a Tektronix to 2430, it was putting out an image, and you could tell what it was trying to do. But again, if you're looking at it, kind of looks like it has capacitance. And I'm going to assume that that has a lot with that digital signal. I just didn't have time to play around with it any further at that point. So this is going to go on the bench too, and hopefully if we can get this thing up and running, this is going to be our component test. Anything that we're going to hook either one of those octopuses up to, it'll be this, and then I'll be able to use my Tektronix or my Heathkit or one of the other scopes for pretty much whatever I want. And just make this a dedicated package. So, all right, that's going to be enough of this. I think I rambled on long enough. So, to everybody that's watching, I appreciate it, and we'll see you soon. Everybody have a good